year. We have team coverage of the Ditka decision tonight, and we begin with Channel 2's Corey McFerrin. He is live at Soldier Field. Corey?
Well, Bill, this is the stadium Mike Ditka helped make famous, of course, and the place that helped forge his legend, the legend of Iron Mike, the biggest personality in all of professional coaching. But as you say, that run came to a close today when Mike McCaskey made the announcement we'd all come to expect.
I've come to the difficult conclusion that it's best to start that process with a new head coach.
Iron Mike responds, quoting the Bible and Frank Sinatra.
Scripture tells you that all things shall pass. This too shall pass. Regrets, just a few. But too few to remember. I can't sing it quite as good as he did. It's pretty hard to erase 17 years. Not much else I can say, but thank you. I appreciate it, and this too shall pass.
The end had finally come to the most trying season of Mike Ditka's football life. His outburst late in the year, where he demanded more power and input, sources tell us, is what ultimately caused McCaskey to pull the trigger. But the precise reasoning the Bears' president refused to be specific.
It's tough to talk about, and I think we're going to have to engage in a very significant rebuilding effort, and I just think that it's time for a change like this.
As soon as McCaskey leaves Hallis Hall, liquid refreshments arrived, probably not of the non-alcoholic variety, as Ditka, his family, and his coaches begin to party.
We want Mike! We love you! Mike! We want Mike!
A group of hardcore Iron Mike fans also served to boost the spirits of the deposed head coach.
I tell you years ago, I started with you gotta believe. Whatever it takes, got one more motto.
We believe in you, Mike! We believe in you, Mike! We love you!
Fast!
We love you!
Spirits evidently pretty high up there in the second level of Hallis Hall in Lake Forest. The coaches we talked to today said indeed they were. Mike Ditka feeling pretty good after a very rough day tonight. He continues to drown his sorrows perhaps with family and friends coming up much more, including a look at just who may be the new Mike Ditka here in Chicago. That's it for now. Linda?
We'll see you. We're in a sports bar called The Huddle in Rosemont, just one of several area sports bars where Bears fans are coming to either drown their sorrows or celebrate, depending on how they feel about Mike Ditka. Paul, the bartender here, has been serving them up. Paul, how do you feel tonight?
I don't think he should have been fired. I think he's a legend in Chicago, and he should have been kept on.
Yeah, that's Paul and some of the people here, thank you, have had a little bit of time to think about how they feel about Mike Ditka. We went over to O'Hare Airport and got some people just getting off the plane, and we broke the news to them. You hear Ditka got fired?
No, I didn't hear Ditka got fired.
He just got fired today.
Incredible. I just came back from Asia. I had heard nothing of any news.
What's your reaction?
I'm shocked.
I think it's good. He'll probably live longer. If he didn't get fired, he'd probably have a heart attack and die very quickly.
I'm sorry to hear that. I really liked him. He thought he was very good.
I hate it. I hate it. He's the best coach Chicago ever had, and I can't believe they got rid of him.
I truly think it's the biggest mistake the Chicago Bears have ever made. I mean, he's been here for years. He did a lot for Chicago, and I really think they're going to regret it.
I'm happy he got fired because I think he's too cocky.
You're happy he got fired?
Yeah, I didn't like him at all. Didn't like him. He had an attitude. You seen him on TV and he had like this attitude. So I'm happy.
How do you feel about Ditka being fired?
Thank you. Thank you. I hate Mike Ditka. Get him out of there.
So how do you feel about that headline?
I was surprised, but I think maybe it's a good thing after all. I think the Bears need an influx of new blood.
I'm kind of happy. I'm not a big Ditka fan.
Yeah. All five of you are happy?
Yeah.
Why is that?
I don't know. Ditka never did anything for me.
Very much good for a long time. You know, it's kind of a loss. I know he's been with the Bears for 17 years, and it's kind of a blow to the city. But, you know, maybe it's everyone's time at some point.
I talked to one gentleman upstairs here at the Huddle in Rosemont, and he said without Mike Ditka, Chicago's going to be a lot like Tampa Bay, only colder. He said, welcome to 3 and 13 seasons. We'll see if that happens. We'll get more reaction in the special following this newscast. Live in Rosemont, Larry Menti, Channel 2 News.
Larry, thanks. Chicago's rich and famous are reacting too, from players to politicians. The firing of Mike Ditka is topic number 1 tonight.
From my perspective, he's an outstanding coach on and off the field. He
You know, he has his personality, but listen, he always gave his 100% to the team and to the effort of winning.
From a fan's point of view, he has definitely produced, and you know, I'm not going to second-guess management's decision, but I'm sorry to see that era end.
I hate to see him go. You know, anytime you have transition like that through success, I mean, the success that he's brought to the program, and then, you know, he's going to be tossed aside in a sense because they want to change things. You have to feel sympathy for him.
Columnist Mike Royko says he was disappointed with Ditka's speech. Royko says Ditka should have, in his words, punched McCaskey and walked out.
The Ditka years have been marked by change, not only for the team, but for the coach as well. These pictures tell the story. When Ditka first made his mark in the league as a tight end for the Bears, Eagles, and Cowboys, he sported a crew cut. In 1982, when he arrived to take over as coach of the Bears, the curly look was in, and then with success came a new haircut. Straight off the pages of GQ, a star was born. But Mike Ditka was much more than a football coach to this city. He captured its spirit with his intensity, his candor, his gruff and tough image. Here's Channel 2's Jay Levine. Jay?
Punch McCaskey and walk out, huh? That's a match somebody would pay to see. A lot of people, anyway. If there was ever a match made in heaven, it was Ditka and Chicago. He may have been raised amidst the steel mills and coal mines of western Pennsylvania, but he's been here, on and off, for 30 years now, and seems as much a part of Chicago as the Dailies.
From the moment he began his coaching career as a young assistant in Dallas, Mike Ditka and his mentor, Tom Landry, were an odd couple.
I think he tries to be a guy who's totally in control. I'm sure when people look at me, they say, wow, here he goes again.
Give me the regular offense in there, God damn it. What we got to do is want it as much as we know we want it. We want it that much.
The difference between Landry and Ditka, the Cowboys and the Bears, Dallas and Chicago, Ditka described this way.
There's teams that are named Smith and some are named Grabowski. We're Grabowskis.
The analogy struck a responsive chord, and the legend of Mike Ditka grew.
Ditka for 200, all right? True or false, Ditka can affect the weather according to his mood. Yeah, true. It is true.
As a player, he once excused himself from the huddle to deck an unruly fan. As a coach, he gave as well as he took. He'd had his trouble with players, too. Jim Harbaugh, Neil Anderson, Jim McMahon as well.
Oh, he's full of excuse my French. You know, he's a guy that I talk to him all the time. I ask him what's the matter, he won't talk to me.
Why does he say I'm pouting? Because I don't go kiss his that means I'm pouting?
But the sudden blow-ups were short and soon forgotten. As for the uneasy truce with the boss, Mike McCaskey, Ditka took a longer view.
If I get slapped in the face, that's tough. It's how do I react to the slap in the face now instead of pouting about it or worrying about it. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go out and try to prove that whoever slapped me in the face was wrong.
While he did say today that he might have to come back and haunt Chicago fans in an opposing uniform, it's hard to imagine Ditka going someplace else to prove McCaskey was wrong. He always called himself a Chicago Bear through and through, and in the eyes of most Chicagoans, nothing that happened today can ever change that. Bill, Linda?
Thank you, Jay.
And we will have more on the end of the Ditka era tonight at 10.